Why should we value God's guidance? What is that all about, and how do we go about doing that? Well, the reason that we need to value God's guidance is because we have some issues in our own life. And let me give you some verses that will help us to understand some of the unique challenges that we face as human beings that should cause us to actually value God's guidance. Isaiah chapter 53, verse number 6 says this: "All of us like sheep have strayed away. We have left God's paths to follow our own." How true that is. The reason we need God's guidance is because we tend to stray. We tend to wander away from God's perspective, from God's Word, from God's will for our lives. And it's especially true during times of difficulty. And then in Proverbs 14, verse 12, a very powerful verse, it says, "There is a path. There's a road, we might say, a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death." You know, sometimes you can seem to be on the right path, and you think and have convinced yourself that you're on the right path, but actually you're on the wrong path. Because we tend to have self-deception, and especially in difficult times, we tend to make decisions that are very clouded, and we might think that we're doing the right thing, but in essence we're not. And then in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, Jesus gave us these words about guidance, about being on the right road, about valuing God's pathway. "Enter through the narrow gate," Jesus says, "for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." Jesus said you've got to be aware that in the world there's this pathway that lots of folks are taking. Everybody's going down this road. It's a big, wide, beautiful road, and there's a lot of people on it. And if we're not careful, we'll get on that road and head down a pathway, but we don't realize it's actually taking us to a place that is destructive. And Jesus says there's another pathway. It's narrow and there's not a lot of people on it, but that's the road that I want you to take. It's the road that will lead you to life, the road that will lead you to the right place, to the right destiny, to the right direction for your life. So you and I need to value the guidance of God.